The police officer checked my husband Derek's license, then suddenly led me to the side of the road and said in a trembling voice, "Ma'am, listen carefully. Do not go home. Go somewhere safe." He placed a folded note in my palm, and when I opened it in the dim light of the car, there were only 6 words written on it. "Derek plans to kill you tonight." At first I thought I had read the note wrong. I was still holding the Walmart receipt in my hand, the bottle of milk was rolling around on the rear seat, and the gas light on the dashboard had been glowing for the last 10 minutes. On a night like that, a woman does not think her husband is planning to kill her. She thinks about going home, putting a frozen pizza in the oven, taking the laundry out of the dryer, and setting out coffee pots for work the next morning. We lived in a small suburb in Ohio. It was called Fairview Heights. Clean streets, matching mailboxes, an American flag on every lawn, and an SUV in every driveway. Derek always said it was a safe place. That night we were coming back from Target. He was driving. I was sitting in the passenger seat. He had barely spoken the entire way. Only once he said, "Why did you keep the receipt again?" I said, "In case we need to return something." He did not answer. Then police lights flashed behind us. Derek gripped the steering wheel so tightly his fingers turned white. I thought maybe he had been speeding, but he was driving under the speed limit. The officer came to the window and said, "License and registration, sir." Derek answered in a very calm voice. "Sure, officer." So calm that it felt strange. The name on the officer's badge said Collins. He looked close to 40. He took Derek's license, took the registration, then looked at me. Just for 1 second. But there was something in that 1 second. Like he recognized me, or maybe like he knew something about me. He went back to his patrol car. Derek said without looking at me, "Don't talk unless he asks you." I looked at the side of his face. His jaw was tight. His eyes were on the road even though the car was not moving. A few minutes later, Officer Collins came back. He told Derek one of the brake lights was out and that he was only giving him a warning. Then he leaned toward me and said, "Ma'am, can you step out for a second? I just need to confirm something about the registration." Derek immediately said, "Why does she need to get out?" Officer Collins answered in a flat voice, "Routine." I stepped out. The air was cold. The Target plastic bags were lying in the back seat. The corner of a cereal box was sticking out of one of them. I still remember that detail. Officer Collins led me behind the car. Then his voice changed. "Ma'am, listen carefully. Do not go home. Go somewhere safe. Right now." I stared at him. "What?" He quickly pressed a note into my palm. "Do not open this in the car. While he's watching, act normal. Do you have your phone?" I nodded. "Your sister, a friend, a hotel, a hospital, anywhere. But do not go into that house tonight." My tongue had gone dry. "Why aren't you telling me what this is?" He looked toward Derek. Derek was watching us through the side mirror. Officer Collins said quietly, "Because I can't prove enough yet. But I know enough." When I got back into the car, Derek immediately asked, "What was that?" I fastened my seatbelt. He was confirming the address on the registration. He looked at me for a few seconds. Then he started the car. I hid the note inside my sleeve. We were 4 streets away from home when I said, "Can you stop at Walgreens? I need allergy medicine." Derek said, "We have some at home." I rubbed my nose. "We're out." He stayed quiet. Then he pulled up in front of Walgreens. "I'll wait." I went inside. Straight to the restroom. I locked the door. I opened the note. "Derek plans to kill you tonight." Underneath in smaller writing it said, "Call 911 from inside. Ask for Collins. Do not leave with him." I took out my phone. My hands were not shaking as much as they should have been. My fingers were just slow. Like they did not belong to me. I called 911. The operator asked what my emergency was. I said, "Officer Collins told me to call. My husband is outside. I think he's going to hurt me." 5 minutes later, 2 patrol cars were outside Walgreens. Derek did not get angry at first. That was the most frightening part. He got out of the car, raised his hands and smiled. There must be a misunderstanding. Officer Collins arrived too. He had Derek put in cuffs. Derek looked at me only once. I had seen that look before. Many times in 7 years of marriage. When I saw an unknown number on his phone. When I asked why there was rope in the garage. When he said the life insurance policy was normal adult planning. when he poured my coffee mug into the sink and said, "You're so forgetful. Maybe you put something in it yourself." That night, standing under the fluorescent lights at Walgreens, I saw all of it together for the first time. The police searched Derek's car. In the trunk there was a black tarp, duct tape, zip ties, and a shovel with the price sticker still on it. We had not bought that shovel from Target that evening. It had already been there. Officer Collins asked me, "Do you have somewhere to go?" I called my sister Rachel. She lived in Columbus, about 40 minutes away. All she said was, "Stay where you are. I'm coming." I sat in the Walgreens break room. The cashier gave me coffee in a paper cup. It was so old there was an oily layer floating on top of it. I still held it, not because it was warm but because it kept me connected to what was real. When Rachel arrived, she did not hug me. Maybe she could tell from my face that I did not want to be touched. She just took my purse, took my keys, and said, "You're coming with me." The next day the police searched my house with a warrant. In the utility closet in the basement they found a backpack. Inside it was cash, a burner phone, copies of my signatures, and a draft of divorce papers with fake initials that were supposed to be mine. Then they found a small notebook under the freezer in the garage. Derek kept planners. Always. He even made grocery lists. That notebook had dates in it. My work schedule. The days I went to Rachel's house. When our neighbors were going on vacation. And on one page it said, Thursday. Rain likely. Brake light stop. Lake Road. When I saw that page it felt like the weight left my legs. Thursday was that night. It was raining too. Lake Road ran behind our house, near an abandoned construction site. The police told me that when Officer Collins ran Derek's license, an alert came up in the system. Derek did not have a warrant, but the previous month, an anonymous report had been made that he had been talking about arranging a woman's accidental death. The report was vague. Nothing could be proven. But Officer Collins had not ignored it. Later, I found out the report had been made by Derek's coworker Mark. Derek had made a joke at the office that, "Some wives are worth more dead than divorced." Everyone laughed it off. Mark did not. I had laughed off a lot of things too. Derek had not seemed like that from the beginning. At least that was what I kept telling myself. He was organized, charming, and very patient in front of people. At our wedding he helped my father out of his wheelchair so he could make it to the dance floor. My mother had called him a good man from that day on. During the first year of marriage he started managing my bills. He said, "You need less stress." "I'll handle it." I liked that. Then he said a joint account would be easier. Then he said we should track credit card spending. Then he said my salary should be deposited directly into that account because it would make budgeting better. It all felt normal. When I was late he asked where I had been. At first it sounded like concern. Then it became an interrogation. When I met friends he went quiet, then cold. Then he would not speak to me for 2 days. Once I said, "I feel like I have to ask permission." He laughed. "That's dramatic, Emma. My name is Emma Brooks." After marriage I became Emma Hale. After that night I started using Brooks again. Derek's mother Linda always said, "Derek likes things done properly." Properly meant his way. At Thanksgiving dinner she said in front of everyone that I was too emotional for finances. Everyone gave a small laugh. So did I. I remember I had a spoonful of mashed potatoes in my hand. I put it back into the bowl. Then came the life insurance. Derek said his company benefits were being updated. He took out a policy for me. Then one for himself too. But mine was larger. Asked why. He said, "Because you drive more." I drove less than he did. 3 weeks earlier he had insisted we go look at a lake cabin. It was cold, off-season, and the roads were empty. He stopped the car at a deserted turn and said, "Imagine living somewhere quiet." I said, "Too quiet." He did not smile. Now it was all a pattern. Before it had been separate dots. Now it was a line. Derek had been arrested, but the charges were not simple. Attempted murder is hard to prove when no murder happened. His lawyer said the tarp and shovel were for a home project. The cash was savings. The notebook was a writing exercise. The burner phone was for privacy. That same day I decided I was not going to leave everything to the police. I sat in Rachel's guest room and took out a legal pad. Yellow paper. On it I began writing every incident with dates. When he deleted messages from my phone. When he canceled my doctor's appointment. When he paid my car insurance late. When he told me I was becoming forgetful. When he replaced my coffee. When I felt dizzy for no clear reason, Rachel said, "You need a lawyer." I said, "I need everything first. I got the bank statements. I got credit card records. I called the insurance company. I found out the policy was even bigger than I knew. Derek was the beneficiary. The application had my signature on it, but that signature was not mine. It was a good copy. Not perfect. I requested records from my primary doctor. There were notes from the past 6 months about unexplained nausea. I had never connected it. The doctor had said stress. Derek went with me to every appointment. This time I went alone. The doctor ordered blood work. Some old exposure markers looked suspicious. Not clear proof, but enough to ask more questions. Then I went back to the house with a police escort. I took my documents from the closet. Birth certificate, passport, old tax returns. Derek had kept them in a fireproof safe and he had never given me the code. The officer had the safe opened. Inside, along with my documents, there was a folder marked EB. Inside that folder were photos of me. Photos inside the house. Photos in the office parking lot. Photos at the grocery store. Some of them were taken from angles that looked like someone had been sitting in a car. I asked Officer Collins, "Can this help?" He said, "Yes." I looked at his face. He was still calm, but his eyes looked tired. Derek got out of jail on bail. The judge issued a restraining order. He could not come to our house. But Linda called me. "Emma, you are destroying his life." I said, "He tried to end mine." She said, "You don't know that." I put the phone on speaker. Rachel was standing by the kitchen counter. Linda said, "Men say things. They buy things. That doesn't mean murder." I said, "Don't call me again." She posted on Facebook. Praying for truth during a family tragedy. People left heart emojis in the comments. Some wrote, "Stay strong, Derek." I did not post anything. I gave the documents to an attorney. Her name was Melissa Grant. She was a small woman with a sharp voice who drank plain black coffee in every meeting and never used the sugar packet. She looked at my file and said, "We go civil too." I asked, "Divorce?" She said, "Divorce, asset freeze, insurance fraud, coercive control documentation, protective order extension. We take the floor out from under him." That was exactly what I wanted. We filed an emergency motion in court. Derek's accounts were frozen. My salary went into a new account. The house was temporarily granted to me, though I did not live there. The insurance company opened a fraud investigation. Derek's job received a subpoena and Mark's statement came in. Mark wrote that Derek had said twice that divorce was too expensive and accidents were cleaner. Derek rejected the plea deal. He thought I would break. I did not break. Before trial, during the deposition, his lawyer tried to confuse me. He asked, "Mrs. Hale, isn't it true you were unhappy in your marriage?" I said, "Yes." "Isn't it true you discussed divorce?" "Yes." "Isn't it true you wanted financial control?" I looked at him. I wanted my own paycheck in my own account. If that is financial control, then yes. Derek was sitting on the other side of the table. For the first time he was not smiling. The evidence came together slowly. Messages were recovered from the burner phone. One number had not been saved, but the messages included phrases like Lake Road, no cameras, and after rain. The police traced the owner of the other phone. It was Derek's old college friend Aaron, who worked in private security. Aaron took a deal. He testified that Derek had asked him where rural roads did not have cameras. Derek said he was writing a crime novel. No one laughed. Linda sat in the front row of the courtroom every day. She wore pearls. She did not look at me. When the photos were shown, when the notebook was shown, when the insurance documents were shown, her neck grew stiff. Officer Collins testified too. He explained that the traffic stop had not been random. The brake light really was out, but he had followed Derek's car because after Mark's report, there was a note in the plate system. When he stopped Derek before he could turn toward Lake Road, he felt there was not much time. The prosecutor showed the folded note as evidence. The handwriting was not mine. It was Officer Collins's. "Why did you write it instead of saying it?" the prosecutor asked. Collins said, "Because the husband was watching her face." When I heard that, I looked down for the first time in the courtroom. Derek was convicted of conspiracy to commit murder, attempted kidnapping, insurance fraud, and forgery. The jury settled the attempted murder charge on a lesser included offense, but the sentence was still long. 28 years. With the possibility of parole but not soon. On sentencing day the judge asked Derek if he wanted to say anything. Derek stood up. He said, "I loved my wife. This has been twisted." I looked at him then. For 3 full seconds. Then I looked away. My statement was short. I said, he did not lose control. He planned. He wrote it down. He waited for rain. He checked roads. He bought tools. He practiced being normal. I am alive because one coworker listened and one officer believed him. That was all. The divorce was final 6 months later. The house was sold. Half the equity went to me and half was held against the restitution claim. Linda made one last attempt. She sent a letter to my attorney saying that the family heirlooms belonged to Derek. Those heirlooms included the dining table my father had given us as a wedding gift. Melissa sent back a 2-line reply. Denied. Do not contact my client. I live in Columbus now. 10 minutes from Rachel's house. I have a small apartment on the 2nd floor, and from the balcony I can see the parking lot. No lake road. No basement. No locked safe. I started driving again. At first, every police light made my whole body freeze. Not anymore. As soon as the gas tank reaches half, I fill it up. That is my new habit. Maybe it is strange. I do not care. Sometimes I go to Target and put the receipt in my purse. Then I laugh to myself. Quietly. Soft enough that no one can hear. Derek sent 2 letters from prison. I did not open the first one. I gave the second one to my attorney. Then the court extended the no-contact order. I sent Officer Collins a thank you card. Inside I wrote only this. You were right. I didn't go home. He did not reply. That was fine. Today that folded note is in the kitchen drawer of my apartment. I got it back from evidence. The folds in the paper have gone weak. The ink has spread a little. But the words are still readable. Derek plans to kill you tonight. People say I was lucky. I do not correct them. But the truth is it was not luck. Someone did not take Derek's words as a joke. Someone sat in a patrol car and read the file again. Someone looked into my eyes and decided a warning would not be enough. And I stood in the Walgreens restroom and made that call. That was the difference. I did not go home. He kept waiting. And this time I was the one who closed the door. If this story kept you watching until the very end, please take a moment to like this video, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you never miss another powerful story. Your support truly means a lot and helps us bring you more emotional, unforgettable stories. Thank you so much for watching and we'll see you in the next one.